Talk about this again. I talked to a lady at the store. I talked to her about it. I said, you walk to a lot of people. You ask them, do you know who Confucius is, who Tao is, and who Sun Yat-sen is? Then how can you know if they're your enemy? Do you know who Pasternak, Dostoevsky, and Lenin are? Then how do you know if they're your enemy? Now, are all Russians like Nikita Khrushchev, including Rachmaninoff? Okay. Do you understand? Okay. If all Americans were like Andrew Jackson, you would see why Russians want to shoot nuclear weapons at us, right? But all Americans are not like Andrew Jackson. How can you say that? The only good Indian is a dead Indian. Okay. When someone says something like that, that's dangerous. Okay. That's irresponsible. That's abuse. Okay. Because Tishno was a good man. Okay. He didn't call himself Apache. Other people called him that, There's people, they call themselves the Mescalero, the Chiricahua, Manuelito was a good man. He called himself Dene. Okay, I'm one of the people. Okay, other people called them Navajo because they had become enemies. But does that mean that the person that saw them as an enemy had Manuelito for an enemy? Do you understand? Okay. If one dog bites you, do you kill all dogs? I actually saw that from a Pocahontas cartoon that came out before Disney's Pocahontas by another company that put out a movie called an animated movie called Land of Pocahontas. And when John Smith and then showed up and Pocahontas tried to befriend them, Powhatan in that movie says, if one dog bites you, do you kill all dogs? So it's like Kilrain, the sergeant from New York that moved to Maine. They used to have discussions with Joshua Chamberlain, Colonel Darling. If man is an angel, he's a killer angel. Okay. Only a peewit judges the man by the group, man by the group, and a group by the man. Right? Like the Good Samaritan, right? So only a peewit would think all Chinese are their enemy, all Russians are their enemy. All Russians are bad and all Ukrainians are good. All Americans are good, all the United States Americans are good, and all Mexicans are criminals. All Canadians are pretentious and arrogant and think they're better than everybody else. Well, that could be true because there's a lot of French in Canada. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Remy, I'm just kidding. Jonathan, you guys okay? Okay. Jonathan pretty much considers himself French. He was born in French. I think he was born in Lille. Okay. English is almost like a second language to him, even though his dad's an English speaker. Okay. And when me and Jonathan talked, I talked about his father because I saw his father play for the Utah Jazz and among other teams. And his dad went to Illinois State. So that kid was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I know. I remember your dad. Okay. Then I watched Jonathan play, and Jonathan was a more skilled and bigger and better player than his father, Jeff. But back in the 1970s and 80s, Jeff played in the NBA for about 10 years. Now, Jonathan did not play in the NBA at all. Okay. And I don't know if that was because he'd rather go back to France to play. And maybe he was good enough to play in the NBA, but he would prefer to go home because he was from Lille. Okay. He was from France. And he liked it there. And I talked to him about it. It's like, wow, that's neat. Okay. And I've met lots of young black people that come to the United States to play sports and prefer France. Like Richard Wright. Okay. The man that criticized Zora Neale Hurston because he said her books are like minstrel shows and tried to turn racism into just a little theater. And he criticized her. And I got mad and said, "You married a white woman and moved to France." And Zora didn't. She stayed here. She hacked it out. They did horrible things to that woman. They tried to frame her as a radical and a pervert. They did horrible things to Zora Neale Hurston and the people that she offended. Okay, a lot of more aristocrat whites that were bourgeoisie and black people that were offended by her because she was very pragmatic about black people, which was one of the most amazing women in the history of the United States, and most people don't even know who she is unless you watch a Halle Berry movie called Their Eyes Were Watching God, which is a story written by Zora. It's good. It's a good book. Yeah, it's a good book. My favorite is Mule Jerks in the Dust, the one where she just lets go loose. I love that. I love that woman. I love her. Born too late. I often feel that way about her. Oh, I do. I do. I don't know if many of you have ever read any of her writings. Okay. But when you read her writings, if you're an intelligent person, you love her the way I do love D.T. Suzuki and Judith Krishnamurti. You know, you sit there and go, "Oh, I really like her. Oh, she's strong and beautiful. Okay. I like her a lot." And you know, I'm hopeful that people will radically change before the quirks of the quantum computing are shifted, okay, and it's just largely focused on myself. I'm hopeful that people do if it's not the celebrities doing it before the grassroots movement, but I am ever hopeful that people will get up and start spreading the truth of the Lord's Prayer and the living Messiah before I have to do it with quantum computing, largely by myself. Okay. I know every day people are scared, and I tell them, focus on that Lord's Prayer every day. Make sure your technology hears it. Okay. It's like I did with Braxton's mommy today. And then Braxton got frustrated because he was putting the water on the cart and he wanted to do it for his mommy. And the plastic was too weak for him to lift it the way he could lift it because he's probably about 7. Okay. But he was lifting one of those 40 bottle things and he was putting it on the cart and he could do it. But it broke out and opened it. And I tried to explain to him, no, when I lift him that way, it does it to me almost every time too. Because that's the only way I can get him out of the back of the truck. And he thought, well, it's because you're big and you can grab. Yes, I'm big and I can grab them like that. But the thing about it is I'm 6 feet tall, 240 pounds, 245, 240, depending on the day. And when I put them in the back of a pickup truck, without having to bring down the tailgate, because I'm not being lazy, I just get tired, I have to lift them up by the plastic like that. And a lot of times they will break on me too. Okay, and then I'll have to lift them under with my arms and stuff, which I can do because I'm 245 pounds. And it makes me tired, okay, to get them from the pickup truck through the gate and around to the apartment on this side of the house. It makes me tired, okay. And I'm one of the strongest living human beings in the history of the world. And Arnold Schwarzenegger can typically lift more weight than me, yes. And lots of other people can. Lexi of Russia, oh yeah. Lexi of Russia could lift weights that were just like unfathomable to most of us, that if we had to lift something we wish we could, but sometimes we can't. Okay. And most of the times we cannot. Okay. And that's not necessarily strength as you guys perceive it. Okay. Being able to do something through brute force is not strength. Okay. It's just brute force. Do you understand? Okay. Strength is knowing right from wrong and not wavering from right. Okay. Without fear. Okay. Because you understand the eternal perfection of love. See, that's what me and Braxton's mommy talked about. Okay. He got frustrated, and the mom talked to him, and then he was feeling better, and then it was adorable to see, the way mom calmed him down and just said, "No, it's okay. You're okay. You did it. You can do it. You're doing it. They keep falling out. That's all right. It's not. It happens. Okay." It's adorable. I love children so much. I talked to another family with their 3 daughters and the mom and the dad, and we talked about, getting up and being the Messiah and doing the right thing, and then reflecting that always, and never wanting to replace the man that did it and was meant to do it with you. And you say, "Well, I'll never be as beautiful as him." And lots of people told me that. I'll never be as beautiful as the Messiah. If you don't stand up for his love, you're right. But if you do, you will. Okay? You can't replace him as the first, the last, the Alpha and the Omega. But you can live what he gave you always. Okay? So you cannot kill me and replace me with your imagination because you wish you were me. Why would you wish you were me? They torture me insidiously. They threaten to kill everybody that I have attachment to. And then tell me, you'll never be able to stop us from doing what we want to do. And you'll never get us to do what you want us to do. If your technology has to stop you because I need it to, then you did what I wanted you to do. Even if you thought it was what you wanted to do. But that's not what I want. But if that's what needs to be done, that's what I'll do. Do you guys understand? Okay. So stop seeing Russia as your enemy. Stop seeing China as your enemy. Stop seeing the United States as your enemy, and stop seeing Mexico as your enemy or Canada as your enemy. Okay. If you believe that money is real and are willing to fight to the death for it, see the person that you brush their teeth every morning as your enemy. Okay. Now love your enemy. Okay. I love you. All right. Peace out.